So everyone, welcome to the TheTen YEC Youth Entrepreneurship Camp. Today is the grand finale. We've been working on the journey of entrepreneurship, and in the last week, we've actually built our own company, and it's such a beautiful experience, right? We kind of entered into a matrix. We are taking classes in the YEC Youth Entrepreneurship, and we were the co-founders. We were the co-founders of actually building the YEC, and what a fantastic business plan that we all put together. And whose idea did we steal from last week? Anybody want to do? This was one of the ideas. The YEC idea was one of our own team members' idea, and then that I stole, and then we started working on the YEC idea. Whose idea was it? Samskriti, you want to go?
Yeah.
No, say it out.
Okay, yeah. So my idea was helping people of all statuses reach their true potential in ways that mean to their own self.
And then being the lazy dude that I am, I simply stole your idea, and then we converted that into Youth Excellence Center, and then we all became co-founders. And did I steal some other ideas as part of this, as part of the building of the YEC? Yes, like what Samskriti said, we want to capture the entire canvas of people and all the living of all shapes and forms, in regardless of their situation. How can we help everybody reach their full potential? And then I believe Tarun and Varun and Yogya, Arun, all of us had ideas about targeting, whether it is endangered species or orphans or disabled, and how do we allow all of them to reach excellence? And we incorporated all those elements into our YEC. And then I believe Sanjana and Ritika, you guys actually started with some unique dimensions about this YEC. And one of them was, how do we cater to the folks that do not have any internet connectivity? Correct? Was that right? Whose idea was it? Was it Ritika's or Sanjana's? Sorry, I can't hear.
I don't think it was mine.
I see. I think Ritik or Sanjana, I think you were the one, or I believe, I distinctly remember. I think my memory usually doesn't fail me. I think Ritika, I think you were the one who said, how about we actually cater to the people in remote places who do not have internet connectivity? And then what did we do? How did we design the experience for YEC? What did we want to do?
We wanted to make a van, a portable type
exactly.
of.
Yeah. We wanted to deliver the YEC experience, also available, not only the physical and the virtual. Physical is going to cater to the people for example, in Frisco, virtual allows to reach all the people that have internet connectivity. And then we want to build YEC on the wheels, by a van or a coach, so that we can actually go cater this experience to people in the remote villages. Did I capture it right? See, all of you are so fantastic. You are the co-founders with so many brilliant ideas. And then you're also very graceful to allow me to steal all your ideas and then make it part of the YEC. See, so that is what entrepreneurship is. We are all learning and sharing together. So today's focus is we're going to continue the journey. All of us had a homework that Rajesh gave all of us. So we're going to follow up on some of the homework. And then Rajesh also is going to introduce us to a wonderful gift for all of us in our journey of youth entrepreneurship. And then we're going to conclude with some of the items that I shared in the agenda. But before I begin, Parthiv and Ramakanji, could you open up your videos if it's Srichar and Datta? Excellent. And the thing that I would like all of us to do is, let's start with our opening entrepreneurship prayer. Everybody, gently close your eyes and take a deep breath. Just give me 1 second. I think somebody's knocking on the door. Yes.
you can't hold the breath, you can release now. Just joking.
Everybody gently close your eyes. Shift your eye gaze to the center of the eyebrows and take a deep breath. Exhale. One more deep breath. Exhale. And let's chant the opening entrepreneurship prayer. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. What a fantastic entrepreneurship invocation that we have. Who wants to give the meaning of the first line in the prayer? Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu. Samskriti, Sri Charandatta. So the first line actually says that we are seeking blessings or the invocation to make sure that we have the full vigor. And then we are making a commitment that we're going to apply all our faculties, the body and the mind, and every resource that we have, and we are going to apply that in our journey of learning. So that means we have to be centered here, and then we're going to make this invocation. And this is a commitment that we're going to make. And then the second one is, may all of us be nourished and blessed that we're going to be successful in this journey of entrepreneurship. And the third one, that it says, Sahanava Sahana Bhunaktu, Saviryam Karavavai, Tejas Vina Vadita Mastu Mavid Vishavahai. What it means is that there is no competition or hatred amongst us, that somebody is succeeding, somebody's idea is better than mine. Who are we competing with? Our own selves. We are always going from a state of inefficiency to a better state. That's a collective journey of entrepreneurship. We're always looking at a status quo, and then we are actually going into an excellent state. And that is an invocation. And that is what we all make a commitment, and we seek an invocation so that we are blessed to be successful in our entrepreneurship journey. So with that invocation, opening entrepreneur invocation, so let me hand over the baton to our guru and then entrepreneur coach, Rajesh. Rajesh, over to you.
Hello, everyone. Okay, I'm going to call an audible and do a little bit of an exercise. Srini, is that okay?
Go ahead.
Yes?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, now I've been observing the last two times, right? I'll just say something and we are going to do this fast. So Pallavi and Ramakant, just for the next 10 minutes or so, is that if it is okay with you, you can open the video because it'll be good, it'll be fun. If not, it's okay. Let me know what, either way. Okay, now a few things. Can you all open your chat? And then this is going to go fast. So if you can read anybody's mind, you can say yes. If you can't read anybody's mind, say no. In the chat, if you can read anybody's mind here, please say yes. If you cannot, please say no. Okay, now it's good. No, nobody can read anybody's mind. That's good. Okay, if anybody says something stupid, will you laugh at them or will you think less of them? If you're going to laugh at anybody here, say yes or you'll say no. Okay, very good. So nobody is going to laugh at anybody. It's good. And it's very except Srini, nobody is able to read anybody's mind. So it's good. Now, what do you think will happen for the next 30 minutes? You just open up with your heart and fully participate, 100% participate. Do you think something good will come out of it or nothing will come out of it? If you think something good will come out of it, say yes. So everyone, if you think nothing good will come out of it?
Only 3 people think that, there is going to be good.
Yeah. Okay, so all of you think, if you choose that you will 100% participate, actually 200% participate, do you think you can do it? Say yes or no. It's only your choice. Okay, then that's it. I only want 30 minutes. I don't want anything more from your life. For the next 30 minutes, we're going to make it so much fun that people think, what's happening in this? Okay, yes? Okay, that's good. Now I have put all of your attention. And then when I ask a question, please completely participate. It's okay to be wrong. It's okay to be said, I didn't know what to do, right? It's okay to be anything because nobody is laughing at you. Let's make the most out of it. So who wants to go first? Based on the last time's exercise, I asked you to do a few things. Anything, if you have not done anything, you can say why you have not done anything. If you have done something, do something. If you think something stupid happened, you say it. Let's have fun. Who wants to go first?
And before we go, does anybody would want to share what was the exercise that we all made a commitment to? Vedamshi, you wanna go?
Yeah, sure. So the exercise that we talked about before last class was about helping people, like offering without like them asking or without asking them, what can I do for you? Try to help someone make their life easier and not expecting anything in return.
Love it.
Vedanshi, right? You said it so beautifully. And I don't know why you are not fully participating in when the other questions were asked. Now you have to promise me. You don't know me, but you are like my daughter kind of thing. So you have to promise me that any opportunity you get, you have to raise your hand and say whatever you want. Let people judge. Who cares? They're not going to put it on Wall Street Journal or New York Times. But with this kind of, I wish I could speak like how you are speaking when I was your age. Do you know how clear it was? Many teachers cannot say how beautifully you captured it in just 2 sentences. Don't you think this was good? If you all think she spoke beautifully, say yes in the chat. See, something like this, Vedanshi, I'm picking on you, but only as an example. There is no point in having a superpower and hiding it, isn't it? Yes or no?
Yeah, I agree.
So any gift, it works well only if it is to use it to serve people and then make something out of it. I didn't have to change one word in what you said, right, Srini?
Absolutely. So spot on. And I echo what Rajesh said. If I were only 10% of what your superpower is when I was your age, I would have been in a different place.
I would be jumping up the ceiling and then I will act like a Superman. So you should be really proud of yourself. And then it's a skill. I took like 30 minutes and you expressed it in 2-3 sentences max. Do you even know what that superpower is? It's basically you made it memorable and transportable. So in fact, it's recorded. I'm going to steal whatever you said and say next time when they say, what is the exercise we are doing? Exactly what you said, I'll repeat it. Should we not all be proud of Vedanshi? Yes? So what is your promise to me,
Thank you.
Vedanshi?
To use my superpower
To the fullest extent, isn't it?
and participate.
Participate and take all the opportunities. I don't know you from Eve. I wanted to say, I don't know you from Adam, but you were a girl. I don't know you from Eve, but here is the thing. I can see that sparkle. But if you hide it, nothing will happen, isn't it? So it's a message for all of you. I'm just talking to her, but it's a message for all of you. If you want to be an entrepreneur, nobody knows what your superpower is. Sometimes people say you have to show up and you have to show how you are showing up, isn't it? Coming from India, I'm sure Naveen, you can relate to it as well. And Srini, of course, you will relate to it. We just think our work will speak for itself. It might, but there is so much noise in this world. Let us also speak up and show how good we are. So I just with that one sentence or two sentences, I know that if we read a book, let's say, what is it? Are you reading any book, Vedanshi?
Just fiction for now.
Okay, which one are you reading?
I was reading The Memory Trees recently by Callie Wallace.
The memory, what is the second word? I could not get it.
Memory Trees.
Memory trees. If I was interested in fiction, I would not read the memory trees. I would just say, let me talk to Vedanshi, what is it? I will get a better version of memory trees in 1/4 of the time than reading it. Look at my advantage, isn't it? Just with this one interaction. Now, do you know any of these people? Do you know them as friends, or have you met any one of these people?
I know a couple of them, yes. They're my cousins.
Okay, pick one and tell me what you like about them that they may or they may not know.
One thing I really like about Dharana that is he always tries his best to include everyone. He's very humble.
Okay, Tarun, F1, E1. Okay, Tarun, open up your mic. Okay,
Yeah,
Tarun, did you know this?
No.
Okay, here is the thing. I want all of you to talk to everyone else. We're not doing anything because your intentions are right. Because most people cannot see their superpowers. What can we do? Because it's easy for us. I'm sure until now, Vedanshi, you didn't know your superpower is to synthesize everything, express it brilliantly in 1/100th of the time that the person it took half an hour, it took like 30 seconds. Did you know that it was your superpower? Yes or no?
A little, yeah.
See, then it's a crime. You need to be punished. Because if you know it, very few people know it. If you know it, anytime Srini asks a question, you should be the first person to raise. Not because you want to steal the thunder. The reason you will do it is you may be better than many other people. So there's, this is how to do it. You're not showing off. You're just practicing. Now, I took some time for you. So it's only as an example. Let's move to Tarun, and then I'll stop. So we got an example. Tarun, you're on the limelight now. Okay. Now, what do you think was your superpower?
What I think was my superpower was, I'd say I'm just hardworking and doing what I need to do. And with the time that I have, I try to make people happy, I guess.
Very good. So you had an inkling of it. When Vedanshi said this, what was the first feeling you got? When she described it so beautifully. What did you feel suddenly when Vedanshi said what she likes about you?
Well, I felt like happy, and I felt like she knew something that I didn't know about myself.
That is true. if now that you know what your superpower is, do you think you will do one thing differently in the next week?
Yes.
So this is the gift that, not to pick on Vedanshi, I'm sure all of you are making a mistake. If you see something good in other people, just say, you know what I like about you? I always tell Srini, do I not tell you, Srini? And he says, you give too much credit. But I always say, because there is a chance that Srini may not also know what his superpower is. Naveen, have I told you anything like this?
Yes, so many times. In fact, it is you who have pushed me to tell my own story. And even though we believe that it can inspire others, but sometimes we do get stopped, right? No, we don't want to talk about it. But you have been consistent on your performance of pushing us to get us to share about what our superpower is. Thank you for that.
Oh, yes, you're most welcome. But really, Naveen is a gift to the world, and he was hiding it himself. I'm like his brother, but at one point there would have been a domestic violence if he didn't share his story.
In fact, it took 7 years. 7 years of his persuasion for me to share.
So once he shared, it was so brilliant when I don't know whether you all heard his story. Even after I probably heard this 50 times, I get tears in my eyes. It's that powerful and moving. There is only one person in this world who can do it, that's Naveen. Now, there is only one in this world, that is you all of you. If you live your true strength, true superpower, the world will notice. But you all need help. That is why we are here. So all of you, it's your homework. Forget about the other homework. And I'll follow up on it. But this homework is to recognize the superpowers of your own cohorts. Tell them what you like about them. Does anybody else who knows Tarun think he has any other superpower? It's an open question, because I don't know Tarun very well, but now I know because of how Vedanshi described it. Does anybody else know anything? It is your chance to open your mic and tell Tarun, we like you because ... Go.
One thing is he makes sure that everyone else is happy around him.
That's great. Anybody else? Go ahead.
Yeah, another thing is that Dharana is very hardworking, and like Ved and Varn both said, like he uses the time he has to make other people happy.
I'm joining the fan club for Tarun. Silicon Valley chapter, I'll be the president. What an amazing way to live a life at such a young age, to make other people happy. Most people are thinking, what's in it for me? It's very difficult to say, how can I make others happy? And that way, at this age, hats off to you, Tarun. And anybody else has anything to say to Tarun?
Tarun, I'm super inspired with you, knowing your superpowers. I'm going to join your fan club from Frisco.
So going once, going twice, anybody else has last things? Do you all agree with what has been said? Anything you want to add? Any color you want to give to what has been said?
Yeah, this is Ramakant. Oops.
Go ahead. Ramakant, go ahead. I'll mute myself.
So very
I think I know what's happening. Is there any other
totally
computer
amazing.
close by?
How would I say? I heard about Hanumans. To make it very, very simple, we go visit these energies in some energy centers called temples, right? But it is so amazing to see that energy into one of the folks on this call. Amazing.
That is very kind of you, but I want to keep the focus on Tarun. So Tarun, now it's your chance to open up. Sorry, Srini, I'm taking a little bit of time, but I just had to do it.
Please go ahead.
Tarun,
Yeah.
Tarun, what are you feeling now? And you can say whatever you are feeling.
I'm feeling very happy right now, and this truly made my day.
Very good. And how long did it take team to make Tarun's day? A little bit of thoughtfulness, and maximum we took like 5-10 minutes.
Yeah.
It's amazing what can we do in less than 10 minutes. This energy will carry Tarun so far for so long that what a joy it will be to work in your team, Tarun, when everybody knows that you are interested in making other people happy. Will it be difficult for you to put a team together? Because in your heart, you always are looking to make other people happy.
I'm going to make a bold statement.
Yes. Oh, who was talking?
Sorry, please continue. Sorry.
So now you see that when so many other people already recognize what you do, what can you do to even make it even better? Is there a book you should read? See, for me, when I discover what I do well, I got the distinction. Sometimes we cannot see ourselves because we just don't know. The self-awareness is the biggest gift that anybody can give. And if Srini did not see what he saw, we wouldn't be in this room, even having this conversation. If Srini does not give me the permission and space to talk about it, I wouldn't be able to talk. I take him for granted. It's like he is in my heart. It's locked. So I say, you know what? I'm going to do this. So now you know what you do. What will you do? I mean, I can help you, and you can reach out to me later. My suggestion, Tarun, is that you start taking some projects and start leading. Whatever little it is, it can be a small project. What grade are you in? Which grade are you in now?
I'm in 9th grade.
9th grade. Do you have anything on your bucket list?
Yes.
Is it okay to share?
Yeah. Yeah. So I only have one thing so far, which would make me happy. I want to go skydiving.
Okay. So that can be done very easily. But let's come up with another one. So is anything else, if you can imagine anything you want to do, what would you like to do? Like you are studying for some reason, what are you going to become?
Well, I want to become an entrepreneur. I want to study business. And something like a company that I'd want to start would be just helping people, whether it being food, water, or shelter.
You know, the entire theme is about others, which is, I'm going to be a permanent member of your fan club. You are never telling, I want to be a millionaire. I want to always help other people. What a joy it is. So now, the next step is pick some small project that you can see the completion. It could be for your school, it could be for your community, or it could be for your home or anything. But you on your own could not be able to complete it. It's very important. It should not be a solo army project. And then just in this group, you can ask them, can you help me with this? How many of you will help Tarun if he comes and asks, not a lot of work, little bit of help? How many will help? I'm going to say yes. Whatever it is, I'll be there for you. How many of you will help him? I think you got a lot of people, Tarun. All you have to do is pick a project. How long will it take for you to pick a project?
To pick a project, maybe it would take a few days just to come up with the idea.
Here is the thing. Do you know there is a person in this call that has done like 250 or 300 ideas? Made people. Do you know who it is?
I don't know.
That is Naveen. Naveen, tell a little bit about the Found book, just very quickly.
Found is just that process that he will probably have to go through now, that so many ideas are brimming in his mind. And actually, smart people have no problem of ideas. In fact, they have a problem of which one to pick. And that's a challenge. So this book Found would help in a simple frame with a simple framework, 5-part process to help you pick an idea which has a higher winning potential. And you can quickly validate it. And also at the same time, we believe no idea is a bad idea. So, but which one do you pick to make it a winning idea?
You know, Naveen thinks he is I'm his mentor. I'm like a student. He's so brilliant in whatever he does. Naveen, would you be willing to give that copy one copy of the book to Tarun with your signature?
Definitely.
Okay, you both figure it out. And then Naveen, would you be willing to spend like half an hour with him on Skype or whatever choice?
Sure.
He will come up with 3-4 ideas. Can you help him phone together something?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. When you are doing that process, is it okay if the other people participate like me, Srini, and whoever, Vedanshi and Sanskriti, or anybody else want? Is that okay?
Yeah, that's okay.
See, we got a plan. How does that sound?
Sounds good.
So anybody else has anything to say? I'm taking up too much time, so I want to be mindful. Anybody else has anything to say about what happened just now? Remember, you promised to fully participate. You can't break the promise. Otherwise, I'll pick names. Okay, Sanjana, you are up.
Can you please say the question again?
Okay, what did you think of this process? What did you learn from it?
I kind of learned like based on how your strengths, how you can like kind of, I don't know how to explain it, but like you can make like kind of like figure out your potential based on what you like and your strengths.
You said it right. Now let's go to Vedanshi, and then we'll go back and forth between Vedanshi and Sanjana. How do you explain it, Vedanshi?
Like what we did
What really
today?
happened? What did you learn?
I learned a lot about how you should not just be knowing that what you can do, you have to know from other people what are your strengths, how to play to their best. And also self-awareness is really important because once you have what other people think of you, you can use those as tools to better yourself.
You are like baby Einstein here. So I really don't know what to say. Now that Sanjana is there, you are a very keen observer. What have you observed in Sanjana that she may not know with whatever limited interaction?
Unfortunately, I haven't really had many interactions, but I know that she seems very like interested in this class specifically. And then based on her observations, I know she's interested in everything people have to say. And she seems really dedicated.
Very good. Anybody else has anything to say about Sanjana? Here is the thing. If you have not spent time with her, I want all of you to set up one-on-ones or two-on-ones or three-on-ones. Every one of you has a story that's so amazing. You just have to wait and listen. Amazing things will come out of it. In fact, all of you should have already done this. this may be the grand finale, but it's not the end of it. It's the
Rajesh,
start of everything.
Rajesh, can I say something about Sanjana? And out of all the group, one superpower that I've seen in Sanjana is she's very proactive about creating opportunities for herself. The way she reached out to me, how can I help? And she shared her own journey of how she's going from medical to finance to what are the disruptive opportunities that she can participate of. And she's truly is that youth entrepreneur. And Sanjana, I'm truly inspired. Like, and again, at your age, I wish I had 5% of your superpower.
Thank you.
Sanjana, how do you feel now?
I feel kind of good because like people are complimenting me, but I feel kind of happy.
It's like when people are expressing true strengths, they're not complimenting, they're bringing you the awareness. I'm glad that you are happy, but I want you to do like when Vedanshi and maybe other people have not spent time with you, somehow find time to know each other. That's all I am requesting, because I would like to spend time with all of you. If you have time one-on-one with me, I would like to spend. The fact that you all came to attend this program, I already know that you are out of the ordinary. What do you think, Naveen? Don't you think just the fact that they're here already make them stand out, isn't it?
Absolutely. I think the very first, the second session that they were attending, where I was speaking, it was actually inspiration to us interacting with them, and I had more, more energy to draw from these members. I couldn't actually. I was even feeling sometimes, what were we doing at that age? These guys are just amazing. We didn't know anything. And here they're talking about entrepreneurship, and now we might talk about being a catalyst for 250 ideas, whatever it is, right? But if I'd started at that age, I would have done something. And neither we had exposure nor the access to such people who are willing to support the ecosystem. So many things has evolved now, and they are best placed to leverage, to draw upon what is available and create something new that the whole world will benefit. And they have the right attitude, and they're demonstrating. I got excited that day, and you can see I feel like I am of their age, and and the youngest there is Priya. Okay, and the amount of energy she had, and she was participating. She might be a little elder to all of them, but she was equally very, very participative. Where are you, Priya?
Priya is today. She's not feeling well, so she's going to look at the.
I thought she was there in the call earlier.
Yeah. In fact, I always refer to Priya as the youngest youth entrepreneur that we have because of her infectious enthusiasm and
enthusiasm.
I have to first thank all of your parents for allowing you to express yourself. That's already really good. And I don't know all of them, but whoever they are, my pranams to them. And you also should thank them, because you came here and they allowed you to spend the time. And the cohort that you have, one thing we know, in somewhere in their heart, deep in their heart, they want to become an entrepreneur. It's not easy to find that kind of a camaraderie group and everything. So my suggestion to all of you is, my calendar is open. So Naveen, depending on your calendar, and Srini, of course, you are available. You can book some time with me, and I'm happy to work with each of you individually. I have certain skills. I'm happy to share them, but don't stop. This is not the end of it. This is actually the beginning. It's the grand start, is how I look at it. The grand finale of this course, but life is so big. There's so many possibilities. Every single opportunity you get to observe something within the cohort, please say, I really like this because I got something out of it. Because people don't know. The more you can make the group self-aware, the faster you will run. I don't think you will ever run faster than Srini, but he's a special person. But even if you run half as fast as him, you will go somewhere. So you are all in Frisco. I don't know whether you're all meeting with each other or something. You figure out how you will get to know each other deep, not just surface, like who is it, the title and all those things. Beneath the titles and the structures and the name and everything, there's a real human being, super special, just like how super special you are. And I can talk about the book, but I want to give it back to Srini. I'll stay here as long as you want. And this is the book you all can take a look. It's called Set Up to Startup. I'll put it here. It is a book that I wrote for first-time entrepreneurs. It's completely free. There is no email, nothing to require. Whenever you want, you can just read it. Whichever section you want, you can click and read it. And then if there are many Vedanshis, I have not found many like that. Vedanshi, if you ever read it, my request to you is just summarize and just share with the group. I think your summary will be better than what I wrote in the book.
I'd love to.
It will be a gift to the world. All of you think if you work on your superpowers, you will be a gift to the world. And Tarun, whenever we talk, I want to see what made you make people happy. How did you even come up with it? There's an observation from many people, and it's not easy. So can we have a call on that?
Yeah, we can. Sure.
Okay, very good. So first of all, I want to really, really thank you for trusting me to participate in this process. I see so much of possibilities in all of it. Just if I look at your eyes, I can see it. So thank you. And then Srini, you can give them my cell phone, everything. So I'm happy to help them. Over to you, Srini.
Love it. And this is how magic gets unfolded. The magic gets unfolded. Rajesh has been a coach, entrepreneur, and one of the things that he told me when I first met him, and I had to earn my right for that. And then after several years, one day he said, Srini, you have a one-way ticket into my heart. And see the journey. From there, every time I meet him, he always gives me the bountiful of gifts in terms of the books and wisdom and then the greatest gift that he had given me recently is, I'm going to travel this journey. I'm going to commit the next 10 years of my life. And the 10 actually means infinite, actually. In Sanskrit, the 10 actually refers to infinite. And what he committed to is he's going to give that infinite time to be the co-founder, actually not the co-founder, actually the founder, the driver of this YEC, Youth Excellence Center. So Rajesh, so fantastic. So all of you, now let's actually make an intention. The book that he has written, and I reviewed it this morning, and it's so fantastic. It's almost like a playbook for the beginners who want to build a startup on this entrepreneurial journey. So what we're going to do is, this is a technique that we say in the yoga philosophy. It's called Dharana Concentration. So whenever we want to make an intention, we're going to just meditate on that idea. And the way we do that is, in Sanskrit, it's called japa. Japa means we have to say it out loud. Anything that you want to do, we have to say it out loud. So the book, what is the book name that Rajesh wrote for all of us?
Set Up to Startup.
Set Up to Startup. What I would like all of us to do is gently take a deep breath and close our eyes. And then we're just going to say that Set Up to Startup 5 times. And it's called japa. And that's all we're going to do. Just take a deep breath, close our eyes, and we're going to say Set Up to Startup. So it just, by doing that, it just becomes hardwired into our own DNA, our own being. And in fact, the more you say it, the more deeper it actually gets into us. And this is one of the proven ancient superpowers that we all could take advantage of. Anything that you want to do, you just have to say it out loud. And we're going to do this exercise towards the end. And in fact, Naveen being the gifted coach that he is, he even made a game out of it. It's called Inspirational Declaration. So we're all going to make an inspiration, the declaration, but let's actually start with, let's all close our eyes. Take a deep breath. Either if you're muted or unmuted, all of us are going to say, set up to startup 5 times. Set up to startup. 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 Take one more deep breath. Exhale. Wow. Now I'm going to see the magic unfold few years from now. I don't know what startups are going to come out of it, but we at least let now the universe come work for us. So we just recruited the universe to come work for us. What a beautiful thing that we've done. So let's move on to the next program. Rajesh, so go ahead.
Yeah. I'll have to take leave because I'm going to be a student in my own mentees class. So I think Soundera at some point should speak to this class, right, Srini?
Sorry.
Soundera should also speak to this class one of these days, no?
Of course. Yeah.
She's teaching a 2-hour class. I will be a student. So I'm leaving. But I have one request. Remember, there is Srini and there is Naveen. Just like you promised me that you'll be fully participating in 30 minutes, promise me that you'll be super selfish to get as much knowledge as possible from these 2 people. They are like oceans of knowledge. It's like this, they'll be flowing anyway. If you go with a cup, you'll get a cup of wisdom. If you go with a bucket, you'll get a bucket of wisdom. My suggestion is go with a tanker with a pipeline. Just suck all the knowledge from them. Then they'll be fine. It's you who will need it. Will you all promise me? Say yes if you will be so selfish that they should get tired of pouring their wisdom into your hearts. Say yes if you will do it. In the chat.
Love it. And what I learned from Rajesh's session, and I make an effort to be the most attentive student whenever Rajesh is around me, and with all of you that are around. Number one, what I took away was know your superpower. It's not just about knowing, being aware of your superpower. The awareness comes with responsibility. Now, once you're aware of it, you have to put to use. You have to put that to use in the welfare of others. Like what Tarun, his superpower is helping others. Vedansh's superpower is summarizing, 30 pages or 30 minutes into 1 minute or 2 pages. So these 2 superpowers, that awareness comes with a responsibility. And then number 1, we are going to then go advertise to the world and make that into a meaningful outcome for the world. Translate that into a possibility. And one thing that Rajesh also said, we're all merchants of infinite possibilities. We're all merchants of infinite possibilities. And then we summarize that with making an intention that we're going to go from that setup to startup to realize those infinite possibilities. Now, what I want to do now is something that I always wanted to do. And I want to feature perhaps my number 1 model role entrepreneur right now, which is Salcon. And Salcon represents the essence of YEC. Salcon represents the essence of YEC. So what we're going to do is we're all going to collectively watch a TED Talk about Salcon, and then we're going to open up for some discussion about the Sight to Insight workshop that we did, the Think Muscle. And we are going to go through each one of us, what is the insight that we got from Salcon's journey. And then we're going to move into the last concluding part of the program. Are we all ready for that? We all ready for that? Let me share my screen. Samskriti, can you see my screen?
Yeah, I could see it.
Okay, let me.
And say that doing a TEDx talk is going to be the most transformative and uplifting experience.
A lot of them were having trouble with math at first because they had all of these gaps.
Okay. So let's all first close our eyes and then take a few deep breaths, because anytime you are actually engaged in the process of learning, what I would like all of us to make a muscle or the habit is always take few deep breaths. because that allows us our mind to be centered, so that we, instead of retaining 10% or less than 10%, when you take a deep breath and when your mind is in the moment, what is the fuel that the mind needs? Is oxygen. So that actually allows us to do a better job out of our learning and the seeking experience. Make sure that, take a couple of deep breaths, and then let's all watch it together. And then we're going to reflect on our collective insights. Is that a deal? Okay, everybody, close your eyes and take 2 deep breaths. Ready.
I'm here today to talk about 2 ideas that, at least based on my observations at Khan Academy, are kind of the core, the key leverage points for learning. And it's the idea of mastery and the idea of mindset. And I saw this in the early days when I was working with my cousins. A lot of them were having trouble with math at first because they had all of these gaps accumulated in their learning. And because of that, at some point they got to an algebra class and they might have been a little bit shaky on some of the pre-algebra. And because of that, they thought they didn't have the math gene, or they'd get to a calculus class and they'd be a little bit shaky on the algebra. I saw in the early days when I was uploading by mastering concepts. I'm here today to talk about 2 ideas that, at least based on my observations at Khan Academy, are kind of the core, the key leverage points for learning. And it's the idea of mastery and the idea of mindset. And I saw this in the early days when I was working with my cousins. A lot of them were having trouble with math at first because they had all of these gaps accumulated in their learning. And because of that, at some point they got to an algebra class and they might have been a little bit shaky on some of the pre-algebra. And because of that, they thought they didn't have the math gene, or they'd get to a calculus class and they'd be a little bit shaky on the algebra. I saw in the early days when I was uploading up some of those videos on YouTube, and I realized that people who are not my cousins were watching. And at first those comments were just simple thank yous, and I thought that was a pretty big deal. I don't know how much time y'all spend on YouTube. Most of the comments are not thank you. They're a little edgier than that. But then the comments got a little bit more intense. Student after student saying that they had grown up not liking math. It was getting difficult as they got into more advanced math topics. By the time they got to algebra, they had so many gaps in their knowledge that they just couldn't engage with it. And they thought that they didn't have the math gene. But when they were a little bit older, they took a little bit of agency and they decided to engage. They found resources like Khan Academy, and they were able to fill in those gaps and master those concepts. And that reinforced their mindset that it wasn't fixed, that they actually were capable of learning mathematics. And in a lot of ways, this is how you would master a lot of things in life. It's the way that you would learn a martial art. In a martial art, you would practice the white belt skills as long as necessary. And only when you've mastered it, you would move on to become a yellow belt. It's the way that you would learn a musical instrument. You practice the basic piece over and over again, and only when you've mastered it, you go on to the more advanced one. But what we point out, this is not the way that a traditional academic model is structured, the type of academic model that most of us grew up in. In a traditional academic model, we group students together, usually by age and around middle school age and perceived ability, and we shepherd them all together at the same pace. And what typically happens, let's say we're in a middle school pre-algebra class and the current unit is on exponents. The teacher will give a lecture on exponents, then we'll go home, do some homework. The next morning, we'll review the homework. Then we'll get another lecture, homework. That'll continue for about 2 or 3 weeks. And then we get a test. And on that test, maybe I get a 75%, maybe you get a 90%, maybe you get a 95%. And even though that test has identified gaps in our knowledge, I didn't know 25% of the material. Even the A student, what was the 5% they didn't know? Even though we've identified those gaps, the whole class will then move on to the next subject, probably a more advanced subject that's going to build on those gaps. It might be logarithms or negative exponents. And that process continues. And you immediately start to realize how strange this is. I didn't know 25% of the more foundational thing, and now I'm being pushed to the more advanced thing. And this will continue for months, and it'll continue for years. all the way to at some point, I might be in an algebra class or trigonometry class, and I hit a wall. And it's not because algebra is fundamentally difficult or because the student isn't bright. It's because I'm seeing an equation and they're dealing with exponents, and that 30% that I didn't know is showing up. And then I start to disengage. And to appreciate how absurd that is, imagine if we did other things in our life that way. Say home building. So we bring in the contractor, say, told we have 2 weeks to build the foundation, do what you can. So they do what they can. Maybe it rains, maybe some of the supplies don't show up. And 2 weeks later, the inspector comes, looks around, says, okay, the concrete's still wet right over there. That part's not quite up to code. I'll give it an 80%. Say, great, that's a C, let's build the first floor. Same thing. We have 2 weeks, do what you can. Inspector shows up in 2 weeks. It's a 75%. Great, that's a D plus. Second floor, third floor. And all of a sudden, while you're building the third floor, the whole structure collapses. And if your reaction to that is the reaction that you typically have in education, or that a lot of folks have in education, you might say, maybe we had a bad contractor, or maybe we needed better inspection or more frequent inspection. But what was really broken was the process. We were artificially constraining how long we had to do something, pretty much ensuring a variable outcome. And we took the trouble of inspecting and identifying those gaps, but then we built right on top of it. So the idea of mastery learning is to do the exact opposite. Instead of artificially constraining when and how long, fixing when and how long you work on something, pretty much ensuring that variable outcome, the A, B, C, D, F, and do it the other way around. What's variable is when and how long a student actually has to work on something. And what's fixed is that they actually master the material. And it's important to realize that not only will this make the student learn their exponents better, but it'll reinforce the right mindset muscles. It makes them realize that if you got 20% wrong on something, it doesn't mean that you have a C branded in your DNA somehow. It means that you should just keep working on it. You should have grit. You should have perseverance. You should take agency over your learning. Now, a lot of skeptics might say, well, hey, this is all great. Philosophically, this whole idea of mastery-based learning and its connection to mindset, students taking agency over their learning, makes a lot of sense, but it seems impractical. To actually do it with students, it seems like every student would be on their own track. They would have to be personalized. You would have to have private tutors. You would have to work worksheets for every student. And there were experiments. These aren't new ideas. There were experiments in Winnetka, Illinois, 100 years ago, where they did mastery-based learning, and they saw great results, but they said it wouldn't scale because it was logistically difficult. And that the teacher had to give different worksheets to every student, give on-demand assessments. But now today, it's no longer impractical. We have the tools to do it. Students need an explanation at their own time and pace. Well, there's on-demand video for that. They need practice. They need feedback. Well, there's adaptive exercises. It's readily available for students. And when that happens, all sorts of neat things happen. One, the students can actually master the concepts, but they're also building their growth mindset. They're building their grit, their perseverance. They're taking agency over their learning. And all sorts of beautiful things can start to happen in the actual classroom. Instead of it being focused on the lecture, students can interact with each other. They can get deeper mastery over the material. They can go into simulation, Socratic dialogue. And to appreciate what we're talking about and kind of the tragedy of lost potential here, I like to give a little bit of a thought experiment. If we were to go 400 years into the past, to Western Europe, which even then was one of the more literate parts of the planet, you would see that about 15% of the population knew how to read. And I suspect that if you ask someone who did know how to read, say a member of the clergy, what percentage of the population do you think is even capable of reading? And they might say, well, with a great education system, maybe 20 or 30%. But if you fast forward to today, we know that prediction would have been wildly pessimistic, that it's pretty close to 100% of the population is capable of reading. But if I were to ask you a similar question, what percentage of the population do you think is capable of truly mastering calculus or understanding organic chemistry or being able to contribute to cancer research? A lot of y'all might say, well, with a great education system, maybe 20, 30%. But what if that estimate It's just based on your own experience in a non-mastery framework, your own experience with yourself or observing your peers, where you're being pushed at this set pace through classes, accumulating all these gaps. Even when you got the A, that 95%, what was that 5% that you missed? And it keeps accumulating all the way that you get to a more advanced class, and all of a sudden you hit a wall and say, oh, I'm not meant to be a cancer researcher. I'm not meant to be a physicist. I'm not meant to be a mathematician. And I suspect that that actually is the case, but if you were allowed to be operating in a mastery framework, if you were allowed to really take agency over your learning, and when you get something wrong, embrace it, view that failure as a moment of learning, that number of the percent that could really master calculus or understand organic chemistry is actually a lot closer to 100%. And this isn't even just a nice to have. I think it's a social imperative. We're exiting what you could call the industrial age, and we're going into this, whatever, information revolution. And it's clear that some things are happening. In the industrial age, society was a pyramid. And at the base of the pyramid, you had a large pool of, you needed human labor. In the middle of the pyramid, you had kind of an information processing, a bureaucracy class. And at the top of the pyramid, you had your owners of capital and your entrepreneurs and your creative class. But we know what's happening already as we go into this information revolution. The bottom of that pyramid, automation is going to take over. Even that middle tier, information processing, that's what computers are good at. So as a society, we have a question. All this new productivity is happening because of this technology, but who participates in it? Is it just going to be the very top of the pyramid, in which case, what does everyone else do? How do they operate? Or do we do something that's more aspirational? Do we actually attempt to invert the pyramid, where you have a large creative class, where almost everyone can participate as an entrepreneur, an artist, as a researcher? And I don't think that this is utopian. I really think that this is all based on the idea of we let people tap into their potential by mastering concepts, by being able to exercise agency over their learning, that they can get there. And from when you think of it as just a citizen of the world, it's pretty exciting. When you think about the type of equity we can have and the rate at which civilization could even progress. And so I'm pretty optimistic about it. I think it's going to be a pretty exciting time to be alive. Thank you.
Wow. What a profound TED Talk. What a profound TED Talk. I listened to this several times, but today was a very special thing. I learned a lot more today only because of the energy of this youth and entrepreneurs. And suddenly I'm operating in a totally different mind. Today I learned so much. But anyway, before I share any one of these things, so I want all of us to go around and everybody say one insight that you got from this TED Talk. What is presented to us is just a sight, some information that Salcon spoke about something. But then you all went from the think muscle, sight to insight. Everyone would have taken 1 to 2 takeaways of what it means to us. And it has to be an actionable insight, something that we should be able to build it into our own extraordinary power, So how about, let's start with Tarun.
So he talked about the education system, and he talks about like how much the percentage of these can do these certain like abilities. So I think what the insight would be to that would be I guess I'm trying to think about it.
Okay, sounds good. Vedamshi?
One thing that really stuck out to me is like how much I didn't think of how when you take a test, they give you a percentage and you're just okay with it. They just tell you you only got 75%, and then you're just okay, I should do better next time. But a lot of people don't go back and wonder what that 25% they were missing was. Like there's test corrections and things, but I think the most important thing that he said that stuck with me was mastery.
Love it.
You can't just like stop there. You have to get better because that's why you're in the class, right?
Love it, love it. It's the profound insight is mastery-based learning. And the way you said it, why is it okay? These are all called the cheese gaps, and they built over time, and then that kind of result in the failed construction building. Love it. Varun?
Okay, so similar to what Vedanshi said, so a site was like he explained what there were like how he talks about test scores, right? He says that even though like it goes down 80%, 70%, people are still okay with it. But then an insight would be that I would relate it to my life and think about like what my goals would be, and that I have to like, in order steps to achieve my goals, I have to master in each section.
Love it. Ritika?
I really think he's the definition of seeing like a problem and turning it into a solution.
What was the problem and what was the solution in your view?
Well, I guess the problem would be like what the other people were saying before, that what was it? Being okay with the score and not going back to like wonder what you did wrong. And then the solution was that he obviously made this huge website for kids to learn past, what they've learned at school.
Exactly. I mean, I'm sure all of you have played with Khan Academy. Does anybody want to share, how he is ensuring that everybody does mastery-based learning? What was the learning?
Khan Academy so much.
So what would say that around?
Yeah,
How is mastery-based learning?
Yeah, Khan Academy was so good because, as you said, mastery-based learning, it wasn't just videos. Like when everyone thinks about Khan Academy, they think about Khan teaching, but it's not just about that. They give you the test questions, examples. They have like, do you understand it? And they explain it to you. And that's the thing that I really loved about it. It's not just the lesson. They make sure you understand everything.
Right. And then the big thing is, only when they assess that you have performed mastery, you cannot get to the next level. They test you with a gamification of all the things. Make it like a game. And then they try to test you the mastery. Only then, at your own pace, you move to the next. Okay, fantastic, Vedamshi. Ritika, thank you so much. Samskriti?
I think that something that stuck with me in the video was that at the beginning, he said, like in school, especially middle school, there's like a lecture, then homework, then a test, and a lecture, homework, and a test, and that just goes on. And especially me being in middle school now, that was really relatable because that's what happens in all of my classes, and I never really stopped to think about it. Like, is this right or wrong? How could we make the learning even better? And so then I saw this video and I was like, well, he actually looked at that problem and looked at the same way to elevate the learning, because he practically had the same results in mind, but in a more better way and having mastery learning.
Wow, what a profound insight. Samskriti, you're such a gift. So here, exactly, the connection is we all kind of put through the same routine, but we don't take a pause. We don't bring the awareness to go challenge the status quo. And here is one, like, Salcon, like Samskriti, who looked at the routine. Why is this have to be this way? And then, you challenge the status quo, ask the right question, why is it this way? And then go do something about it. And that's the whole essence of YEC. Challenge the unfair status quos. If something is bothering you, like, the superpower that, Rajesh walked us through, be aware of it, speak up. And just like what Salkan has done it. And then once you speak up and you start meditating on it, why, a solution automatically comes to you. I bet, I can guarantee that. Sounds good. Sanjana?
Yeah, so mine was kind of similar to like Vedanshi. So like, I really really thought that like how some people kind of just like let go, even if they get like a bad score, they don't understand something, they like let go and move on. And then it's kind of like, now that I'm like a senior in high school, I've like seen it so much, because like, especially in like math classes, some people like do terrible, but then they're like, okay, whatever. And then they just move on and like don't even care about it later on.
Fantastic. Sricharan?
I think one insight that I had was, so in the video, he talked about everybody having those gaps and not really not mastering them. And then they moved on, they eventually hit a big roadblock where they can't move on. So I think we can take that to like every aspect of our life, where we have to master every single foundational skill that we have in order to keep moving on.
Pursue mastery. Mastery is our equal destination for all of us. Parthiv?
What stood out to me was like right now, like if you get like a 95 on a test, it's considered good. But then how he was talking about like you didn't master that 5%. And let's say that 5% is like one question on the test. And so you don't understand that one topic. And then let's say you take like 6 tests a year. That's 6 topics you don't understand. And all throughout your 12 grades of like our normal school, that's 72 topics you don't understand all throughout. And that's just building up all the way through.
That's cool. And Pallavi? If you're willing.
No problem. Actually, I did want to say something, and I was going to ask you if you were okay if I spoke for a couple of minutes here. I'll go beyond the takeaway. I think the young entrepreneurs on the call have really summarized the takeaways in such a great fashion. So I don't want to repeat any of that. What I do want to say is I want to tie in what Sal Khan is about and his journey to what Rajesh was talking about and what happened with Rajesh, Naveen, and the kids on the call. I thought that was fascinating. So here's, I've been a Sal Khan fan for a long time. I've followed his journey. And for those of you, who want to learn a little bit more about him, there is a podcast on NPR. It's called How I Built This. And it showcases all kinds of entrepreneurs, if you already haven't been exposed to that. And there is a brilliant interview with Sal Khan on it. It's about an hour long. I would highly encourage you to listen to it. So in that interview, he talked about his journey, about how he was teaching his cousins and how it slowly grew into this entrepreneurship where it's a mission for him to educate the entire world. What he didn't realize early on, and this is the tie-in I want to make with what Rajesh talked about and what Naveen has offered to you, is he didn't realize how easy it is simply to ask. So as you get on your journeys, Tarun, you're going to start talking to Naveen shortly on starting a project, entrepreneurship, whatever it is. We all need help. And a lot of times we hold ourselves back because we think that we have to do it all because it is our idea and we have to roll up our sleeves and do it. But the power of simply asking is just brilliant. So if you need help, you need knowledge, you need skill building, you need guidance, you need funding, you need somebody to set up your website, you need somebody to create those courses like Sal Khan did. So Sal Khan realized that a little later on. His Khan Academy, the news of Khan Academy spread like wildfire in Silicon Valley. And everybody was talking about it, except nobody was talking to Sal Khan about it. They were talking in their own circles. And eventually he realized that. And after that, he started asking for help and people gave him. Bill Gates gave him help and others as well. So that's in a roundabout way. What I was trying to say is when Rajesh pulled up Tarun and he started to talk to Naveen about, Naveen, can you help him out? Can you set up a call? He's like, sure. And then, oh, by the way, can we all join the call so we can learn? The beauty of that was so brilliant. I was sitting here smiling. I know I'm not in video, but I was grinning ear to ear, listening to how this moment occurred and Tarun was given help just because somebody asked, somebody said yes, and now it's happening. So that is really my biggest takeaway from this entire call. And for you guys to think about is, as you go on your journeys, know you're not alone. There are so many people out there who are inspired by you, by your youth and what you're doing. And if you simply ask, they will give you whatever they have because they're willing to do that. So thank you for that, Srini. That was my takeaway and kind of my couple points of wisdom for the kids.
Love it. Pallavi, we are so blessed. Pallavi is a resident of Dallas area, and she's an executive coach, entrepreneur, and she writes several books. She coaches youth and women about empowerment, and in fact, she herself is a great example. I mean, she had a very successful career, but she quit it, and now she started a company of life of no regrets. And this is all about empowerment of youth in the entrepreneurship to realize our true potential. So the fact that she's here, let me volunteer Pallavi, that she also is there out for help. You all could set up a one-on-one with Pallavi whenever you need it on your time. So thank you, Pallavi. Ramakant?
Yes, my pleasure.
Yeah, and apart from the video, I was really surprised with Sal Khan. So I generally go back to this. So the Gurukula system used to do that, right? Only gradual movement for those who know. So they were actually handing it separately, those handsheets, right? So everything, whatever was dreaming about, Sal Khan did it just like that, using the technology, right? Because each one of us are at a different phase of life and so on. So that was amazing about Sal Khan. And second thing was, like Pallavi said, I heard about, and I've been listening to Rajesh ji quite a long time, but just few minutes of sight, insight, vision, action, and what goes around comes around. So he looked it so tightly within few minutes. I think that's totally amazing. We're gonna reach out to Rajesh for plenty of things. He's an amazing inspiration. Thank you.
Love it. Naveen bhai?
Yeah. To me, I think the TEDx talk that I watched now, it's a fantastic process of see the change, and if you want to be the change. And what I loved was in the end, he said, I'm going to be there to make it happen, right? So that attitude of making it happen, so doing it, right? So with that right intention, and being connected, and the action. In fact, tomorrow, my every Monday that I share. So tomorrow it is that values, which is, and today I saw it in action in a way through this video. And there are 3 orientations for the values. It's in the intention, it's about the wisdom, and it's the seeing the whole, seeing the big picture and bringing that goodness to the front. The second is the connection. It's about compassion, it's about love, it's about sharing, giving, and so on. So the third orientation is the action. It's about thought, word, and deed in alignment, right? And also integrity to your commitment, and so on. Actually, if you look at ancient scriptures, this is what it is. The 3 of them is Gnana Marga, Bhakti Marga, and Yoga Marga, Karma Marga, right? These are the 3: the intention, the connection, and the action. And I saw that in this video of Sal Khan today, and I was loving it. Thank you.
Thank you, Naveen. So here are my insights from this. Number one, I learned from your insights as well. The things that stood out for me, I always read into patterns. The first few minutes, he had 3 M's: mastery, mindset. Mastery, mindset, moment of learning. So all these myths about that, some people are gifted, some people are gifted in math, some people are gifted in this. He basically said, like, no. Everybody is entitled to mastery. And it's just that the system is wrong, the process is wrong. Like what Samskriti said, we all shepherded through like sheep, put into the class, you go through things, and then we're all heralded, along the journey, go from kindergarten to middle school to this. And then we all have, cheese gaps in our foundation. Even the A guy has a cheese gap. And then somehow, the walls are going to manifest at some level. He says like it is not because there is anything wrong with anything. He even said, like, it's not like, our DNA is printed with the A in math or something else. There is no imprints. There is only one grade that is printed on us. It's called grade excellence or grade master. That's all is everybody's potential. It's just that we just need everybody operates their own pace. But all of us get to the same destination, which is the excellence and the mastery. And what it requires is a mindset. Mastery requires a mindset that we all have to, even if something you're stuck at it, the failure of where you're stuck is just a moment of learning. This is the 3 M's: mastery, mindset, and moment of learning. There is nothing like an ego. Oh, I suck at this or this stuff. No. Everything is this is a moment of learning. Oh my God, I got more important, thing. So the 3 M's, like at the canvas of YEC, excellence is excellence in every pursuit that we do is our true potential, is our identity. And that's an idea that Samskriti wanted to build in our last exercise. Samskriti, isn't that what you said? That is true. In fact, in your own words, you're just speaking like Salcom. It's like, realizing our true potential, realizing mastery, and realizing excellence is everybody's potential. And Salcom did that for just one vertical, just one domain, that is an education in some things. And we all have so many opportunities to go bring the same thing. We can all be Salcoms in so many things. And then the other insight was that he actually then applied this and looked at the whole society, what's happening. And the entire system, our societies are structured for industrial revolution. And today, in the knowledge economy, it actually is happening all around us. Only few people are getting richer, everybody else being displaced. And he had this model to invert the entire pyramid. Why can't everybody be the creator? Why can't everybody the master? And then what beauty is going to happen? Then we will be managing, controlling all the assistants, the AI. Today, the assistants are controlling us. Now we're all the creators of massive experiences with our imagination. Any status quo that comes in, there is a new Salcon in Sanjana, new Salcon in Samskriti, Salcon in everybody. And we're all the creators of excellence and exuberance in so many walks of life. And it's not a utopian dream, like what Salcon said. That is the future. That is the world that we are in. And that is about to begin. And it's already happening. Actually, it's nothing like a beginning. It's just already happening, right? With so many, we're just a part of the process. We're just part of the process. And that is what it is. And the last thing that I would say about Salcon, in fact, there's so many videos, and Pallavi talked about the podcast, how it's built. Salcon is a gifted individual, only because he applied himself, not that because he has any special DNA imprint. It's just that he applied himself in deeper math. He got mastery. His first career was, he was working in the Wall Street. His only focus was to make money, ton of money, by writing one formula for a hedge fund. And then suddenly, because of his opportunity to use YouTube to teach his cousins, someday it dawned on him, because of all the speaking up, all the other people were speaking up about how much it actually added value to people of different abilities, autistic kids, and everybody was actually pursuing mastery. Then he realized that, wow, whatever you build has immense potential to change the process of learning. And he made the toughest call to quit his high-paying job. And he wanted to dedicate his entire rest of his life in the service of the world. He didn't know whether he was going to make money or not. He just started. And in fact, in one of the videos, he says, all his goals of about building a 6,000 square foot house and building all the accumulation, suddenly said, why can't I live in a small apartment and have one Honda Odyssey and some other car for his family? Then let me just dedicate my life in spreading the world of learning. We're at a canvas like a Buddha for the entire humanity, using the technology and the platform that he had. And he started working. And then the universe started operating through him. And then Bill Gates came along, Google came along, John Doerr came along, and they all did it. Now Khan Academy is the tool for learning. And in fact, I actually, wanted to, I worked on introducing Khan Academy to different public schools of the underprivileged in India. And why is that so important? Now that's a free learning platform. What Bill Gates, one of the richest guys, top richest guys, what he uses as a tool, as a platform to teach math for his kids. We can make the same thing available for somebody in a government school in India. It's the same quality of education. At the same pace, same master-based learning. Just imagine somebody in India who do not have sometimes all the resources and the luxuries that we have. But if he or she becomes the same mastery, achieves the same mastery in math and science and entrepreneurship, like all of us, what a beautiful world it will be. And that's why Salkan is our role model. What is the triad that we want to build at YEC? The right technology and entrepreneurship with the right mindfulness and the mindset. And then the third pillar is the sharing, which is to serve the humanity, to democratize the learning so that everybody, regardless of their status, location, resources, they all can pursue excellence. And Salkan did that. And there's so many such opportunities that are out there for us to go prosecute and build YECs. Any thoughts, comments? Naveen, anything that you want to add?
During that, the conversation that was sharing that he was doing, one of my core areas, maybe it's been there in the air and there is a requirement, is that mindset. So one of the programs majorly that I do is on developing that mindset. How do we develop that innovation mindset or entrepreneurship mindset or the little extra mindset so that we can produce extraordinary results? It's such a wonderful tool that we all have, which is that mind. And if we can create that right setting for that and nurture, extraordinary results are bound to happen. We just have to be that little extra. I love that. And because that's the game I love playing, of building that mindset. We all have it. How do we cultivate it? Right. So that was another thing. And I'm happy in some way, directly or indirectly, even to this group, Zoe came in and rekindling that little extra mindset in each one of them. And they are all extraordinary. So I'm happy that I was part of this group.
Love it. So we're going to conclude this. What we're going to end with is Inspirational Declaration. So we learned, from one of Naveen's, earlier games that we looked at about 12 superpowers of a little extraordinary in all the youth entrepreneurs. What I'll do is I'll have each one of us, I'm going to feature the card here. I hope, all of you can screen it, all of you can see it. And, just, go one after the other. I don't want to call anybody's names. You just go and pick somebody, if you resonate with this, you just volunteer and you basically go make this as, go declare it, say it out loud of what is that superpower that you're going to build in yourself. So just so to get the process started, here's a card that is featured in here. So somebody, whoever resonates with this, like for example, you talking good about others is ordinary. Others talking good about you is extraordinary. So if somebody resonates with this, you just volunteer, say your name, and then just say it out loud. That you're committing to having this superpower be built in this. So who wants to go first?
Can I pitch in?
Please go ahead.
Yeah. So you can probably pick one of these, like this, as a card which inspires you.
Yeah, absolutely. The one other thing is, we're also about 20 minutes past this. So just be time sensitive. Yeah, exactly. What you inspire. Sorry.
Yeah.
Please.
What inspires you? If this inspires you, and then related to this, you can make a declaration. So, so use this as an inspiration to make your own declaration.
Yeah, and the declaration, as Naveen said, you can tie it to an example or something that you're going to use this principle to go achieve something, right? To realize this superpower. So Vedanshi, you want to go first, or anybody if they resonate with this?
Yeah, I'm definitely inspired, but I'm still thinking about the declaration. One thing that, like, when people talk about you in a good way, you know that you've made a significant impact on them. You may have inspired them, you may have helped them, and that's really important because you're doing good for someone else and that benefits you as well.
Love it. And today we demonstrated that. Like Tarun, you actually made Tarun realize his own superpower. Good. And Vedanshi, what I would like you to do is not only say this, but just say it out loud the way it is.
Okay. Like read the card?
Read the card, yes. Like as if you're declaring it to the universe, yes.
You talking good about others is ordinary. Others talking good about you is extraordinary.
Love it.
I think, I mean, post the session too. So what they could do is, with that as an inspiration, why it inspired you, you could probably articulate that, and your declaration of, with a time frame, maybe like in 3 months or 6 months or 1 week, you would do something that would actually bring others to talk good about you. What would you do? Those 3 things or 1 thing that you would do so that others talk good about you. So you've drawn an inspiration. Now your declaration is about doing something which is going to be in the future, not the past. And that is the declaration together. It's like taking your oath and you're declaring to the world, next 1 week, I'm going to do these 2 tasks, which actually would lead to others talking good about you. So how about that, right? So you could extend it, and that's what this game is about. Draw inspiration and make your declaration.
Love it. Who wants to go for the next one?
This is all about challenging the status quo. That which is ordinary. That which can be is extraordinary, right? Anybody who wants to challenge the status quo in their own life?
So Naveen, I think we did the workshop. I think, we just need everybody to volunteer and then pick 1 card and say it. And we're also 20 minutes past the time. Somebody can please pick this card and make an inspiration and declaration. Otherwise, Naveen or Srini are going to make every one of these declarations. So somebody, Sri Charan, you want to go?
So that which is ordinary, and that which can be is extraordinary.
Love it. And the declarations would have to be said with an intensity and the passion, like something like, you own it. You're telling the universe. Can you say that again?
Yeah. That which is ordinary, but that which can be is extraordinary.
Love it. Who wants to go for this? Sanjana? Sanjana, you want to say this?
I can read it.
Okay.
Desire without direction is ordinary. And desire with direction is extraordinary.
Love it. You want to say it one more time?
Desire without direction is ordinary. Desire with direction is extraordinary.
Love it.
I
Ritika?
can
I
read
just
this
read
one
it
because Ritika did mine.
Go ahead.
Okay, so this one is, you know your strengths is ordinary, but others knowing your strengths and wanting to utilize them is extraordinary.
Love it. Who is going for this? Tarun?
Okay. You working for money is ordinary. Money working for you is extraordinary.
Love it. Varun?
Having thoughts is ordinary. Finishing those thoughts in style is extraordinary.
Who wants to go for this? Parthiv?
Innovation in general is ordinary. Innovation based on human values is extraordinary.
Who wants to go? Sanskriti?
Feeling good about the work you did is ordinary. Others feeling good because of the work you did is extraordinary.
Love it. Ramakant?
You caring for your customer is ordinary. Your customer caring for you is extraordinary.
Who wants to go for this? Pallavi, you want to say this?
Srini, I would love to. I'm on my phone and I cannot read it. Can you just read it out for me and I'll repeat it?
Okay, love it. Being successful is ordinary. Being happy and making others happy is extraordinary.
Awesome. Being successful is ordinary. Being happy and making others happy is extraordinary. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you for that.
Love it. And the last one, let me read it. Did I miss anybody? Not right. Learning is ordinary. Teaching is extraordinary. Learning is ordinary. Teaching is extraordinary. Naveen? Naveen bhai, are you there?
Oh, sorry. Being energetic is ordinary. Energizing others is extraordinary.
Love it. And then, did we cover this already? I think this is where we started, right? Exactly. See, the way we ended, it's so beautiful. Which is like playing the game that you created is kind of the matrix. That's the magic. Seeing Naveen play the game that his own created and making an inspiration declaration was the game that he created. That's so wonderful. And that's what WISE is all about. We all play the matrix game. So with that, let's conclude the entrepreneurship camp. What a wonderful opportunity. I learned a lot from this journey with all of you. And I'm sure we're going to conduct more of such camps. Please share your feedback and let's get our friends, our community, like what Sanskriti set as the canvas, regardless of their age, in whatever the location, all of us collectively continue to pursue the journey of youth entrepreneurship in pursuit of mastery, in pursuit of excellence, which is our true potential. And we don't just stop here. We basically translate this into action. And we're all here are going to be the creators of better outcomes. And that's the canvas. And we're all, the divine, the supreme energy has chosen us with all its qualities, the mindset and the intelligence and this sharing in the capability, so that we are going to create a better world of our own choosing. And what did we say? The YEC camp, the caption, design excellence in the world. And we are the quarterbacks. We are the quarterbacks. So thank you again. And I'll definitely connect with each one of you. And I'm here. And in fact, just as an announcement, as of the Friday, I ended my own gig at Apple and Claris. When I started, I advertised myself as the Vice President of Products and Design. And then now I have a different avatar. Starting tomorrow, I'm going to be the CEO of a startup where I think I'm going to bring excellence in the lives of the people that are struggling with JavaScript and building applications. We're going to do something to create excellence for those people, make their lives secure, easy, and efficient, and to create more innovative design experience. So I'm going to be the CEO of this company called Clean Software. So if any of you have interest in building modern web apps using React or other JavaScript frameworks, I'm going to come work for you. So wherever you are, I'm going to find you and I'm going to come work for you. And Sanjana, regarding one of your requests that you said, you want to look for some internship opportunities where you're going to use all your finance and all the skills. Sorry, you can actually now, I can come work for you in the context of Clean Software. So all of us join together, continue to be out there, to look for opportunities like, Salcon, and then let's be the CEOs of designing excellence in the world. So everybody, let's end with the last entrepreneurship prayer. Everybody, please close your eyes. Take a deep breath. Exhale. One more. Exhale. Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritangamayam. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. This is an entrepreneurship anthem. What the first line says is, we make a commitment in our entrepreneurial journey that we are going to take us from an inefficient status quo state to an excellent state. We go from a darkness to light. We go from finite to infinite. And the ultimate thing is Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Means excellence, excellence, excellence. All around, within our community, within our family, in all the worlds, there is excellence. And we just have to work towards it. And that's our capability. And that's what we've been asked to do in this world. So have a wonderful weekend. And then we'll all see you again in the next camp. Wonderful. Fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.